Guys, welcome back. Today we're checking out some crazy dating stories that leave you questioning your dating app. So let's dive right in. By the way, I'm Chi. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe. You should actually like the video. You must. You like the video now.
Okay, we totally will.
I deleted my Tinder and why every single girl watching this needs to delete her Tinder too. This happened a few years ago and I honestly consider myself so incredibly lucky to be alive after experiencing this.
Oh, wow.
I was living in New York City at the time and I matched with a guy. For the entire time we were talking, he was really aggressively trying to get me to go out with him. And eventually I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna let this guy take me out on a date. Maybe I'm just being judgmental. Maybe he's not being desperate. Maybe he's just putting in an effort. So the day of the date rolls around and he tells me that he wants to take me out to a restaurant that is a bit of a hidden gem and is a little bit outside of the city in an area of Westchester called Yonkers. And even though he offered to drive me, I was like, no, it's all good. I actually had my own car in New York City, so I agreed to meet up with him. Now, I feel like an absolute idiot because I didn't even Google this place before I went.
Seriously?
So on the night of the date, I'm driving to this place. I put it into my GPS and it's really weird.
She's probably like thinking, oh my gosh, he's so romantic. He's putting in the effort and making me find somewhere that's not, I don't know, discover somewhere new, not just one. Let's go have coffee. And it's like, oh, extra. When he's giving serial killer vibes already. Like somewhere far. First time you're meeting a stranger, hell no.
Because as soon as I see it in the GPS, it says that the place is closed. So I text my date and I'm like, hey, I just put this place into the GPS and it is telling me that it is actually closed. To which he replies, oh no, don't worry. They're really bad at updating their hours. This is the part where I should have just been like, oh hell no, and I should have canceled the date. But somehow I decided it would be a good idea to get in my...
At least he was like, it's a good lie because, I don't know. When I was like, no, I didn't do that, but like, he should have said something like, no, I booked this space for us, so it says they're closed, so the rest of the world would not interrupt our romantic night together.
Car and drive 40 minutes to Yonkers for a date with a guy. So after 40 minutes of driving in traffic, I arrive at this place in Yonkers. I pull up to the building and I quickly realize that there is nobody in the parking lot and that indeed this business is really closed. Not to mention my car is the only car in the parking lot.
That is your cue to be like, zoom out of there and be like, hello, actually I came, but like there was no one there. That's like a lie you're supposed to say without going there, but like she already put in the 40 minutes and the effort.
So I start to panic, and as I look behind me to put my car in reverse, I notice another car pull up. This car pulls up right beside me. I don't even look at the person sitting in the car. I just simply back up out of that parking lot as fast as I can, and I get the heck out of there. The entire way home, I am just looking in my rearview mirror to see if there's anyone behind me, and thankfully there was not. And the craziest part of all of this is when I got home, I went back onto that dating app, and I could see that the profile had unmatched with me.
No, actually, let's go into a fantasy world. He was a good guy. He spent all the time and effort to prepare you this romantic dinner, and you didn't even give him a chance to. Actually, dude, you almost got kidnapped and probably trafficked. Oh, she's pretty. They would have made some good coin out of her.
I never got a chance to screenshot that profile. I never learned the guy's last name, but I can't tell you guys how many times I've heard this happening to girls on dating apps. It's not worth it. Just delete it for your own safety. And if you are going to be on dating apps, please always make sure to get the person's last name and to meet in a place that you are.
All dates should first happen at a police station. Like, hi, nice to meet you. Introduce each other. Police cameras take your face, take his face, and then you're like, fine, it's safe to go out now.
Familiar with.
Never let a man come over to your house after a first date, and if you used to do that, you're not going to do that after the story time. Let's go. I also forget to mention that it's a true story time. Yeah, let us begin. The story starts off with this young girl. She goes on a first date with this guy. They go out to get dinner, and honestly, he was a green flag all throughout. Like, he was nice to the waitresses, he paid for the bill, like no red flags at all.
Nice.
This is why no matter how normal or nice a guy seems to be, you can never trust them too quickly because the story's like this. The dinner goes great, he pays the bill, and then they just go about their day and they go to their own homes. So obviously this is a respectful man, right? Like, he didn't even try to like get her to come over and didn't ask to go over to her house yet. So she goes home and then she gets a call from him, and he's basically saying how he can't find his key, his roommate is not answering the phone, and if he could just come over for the time being until either his roommate answers the phone or he finds his keys somehow.
And the worst part is they probably had a good date, and in her mind she's thinking, oh, we can spend like a few more hours chatting. I didn't even want it to end. No.
And she obviously said yes because, once again, no red flags. He comes over, they're having a blast, they're just sitting on the couch, talking, vibing, and then it just gets really late, so she's like, hey, you can sleep on the couch until you figure things out. I'm gonna go to my room. And something told her to lock the door. Obviously, she lives alone, she doesn't normally lock the door, but something, an instinct. A woman's instinct is always right. So she ends up locking the door and then just going to sleep. A couple hours pass, and then she gets a knock on her bedroom door, and it's him asking for a phone charger because his died. Something told her once again, don't open the door, just tell him where it is. So she does not move, and she says, it's on the kitchen counter, like, help yourself. And he says thank you, and then he goes about his business, and then she just goes back to bed. Okay, this is where it gets a little for me. A couple minutes go by, and then he comes back and knocks on the door and says, hey, like, this charger's not working, like, do you have a charger in your room that I can borrow?
Bro specified, like, I want to get into that room. Could you please open the door so I don't have to break it down? Cue the 911 call.
Something just like raises a flag in her head, like, hey, something's wrong. Why does he want to get into my room so bad? So she calls the police. After she calls the police...
She did! I didn't even know that. Like, I mean, she's already messed up right up to this point. You only have to call for the saving grace. Like, save me. I put myself in this situation. Take me out.
She hears like the door kind of opening. She hears like a bunch of commotion outside. And then a couple minutes later, the police knock on her bedroom door and say, hey, like, you're safe. He's in custody. Come outside and look at your living room. Guess what she saw? Please, just pause the video. I want you guys to guess first.
Now, you guys have to guess. Go down and guess. Because I'm already thinking like, Huh? There's no one there to hurt. If he was stealing her stuff, he wouldn't want to get into her room. He would just be like, let's do the moving, move all this stuff and then get out of there. What did he have down there? Did he bring equipment to like unalive her? She didn't have to cut me off. Sorry, I do true crime too, so.
Before you actually hear what it is. So she walks out from her bedroom to her living room with the police, and she sees her whole living room fully plastered, and she just sees a box of power tools.
My true crime brain never fails. Wait, I don't know if you guys, I don't know the type of movies you guys watch, but like, bro, I think it's in Breaking Bad, and one of the episodes, there's a guy who does like a good cleanup for the setup, like, they put the bags, plastic bags and everything before they unalive the person to just make sure that you roll away and it's a smooth cleanup. So bro had already set the stage for her, like, baby, come over. Okay.
So drills, axes, you name it, it was in that power tool box. If she left her room and she didn't use her womanly instincts, you guys, women, we're never wrong. I said what I said and I meant it. If she did not just listen to her instincts, she would have been gone. I'm so scared for women. Like, we're not safe ever. And it's really sad. I really want to know how she felt in that moment. Like, just to be like, whoa, like, I just listened to my gut. And that's the main reason I'm still alive to this day. If you're watching this, I'm so proud of you. And I hope you know that.
At this point, I'm feeling like this is not his first rodeo. Bro already knew what the setup would be. He has done something somewhere and blown that. They need to check his file. There has to be something on it. And I want to put another story of another woman who went on a first date and had the guy come over, and the guy tried to unalive her. She literally escaped into a bathroom and called the police. You can look it up.
The story is a man can be so normal, have the perfect job, and just be a walking green flag and still not be the person that you think he is. So just don't let anyone into your home. Make sure that you guys run a background check first. Okay, I love you guys. Bye.
Story time of what it was like dealing with a guy who couldn't take no for an answer. Also, this is just a trigger warning. If you've ever been a victim of SA, please don't watch this video. Anyways, let's get into the tea. Anyways, this happened in my first year of university. I was living in a dorm. So me and my dorm mates one day were like, oh, it would be really fun if we like swiped on Tinder together. So Of course, I was chosen to make the account. And so the guys are swiping through this Tinder account that has like my photos on it, and they see someone that they know. And they swipe right on him, and of course it's a match, and he actually happens to live on the floor below us. So of course these immature men run downstairs and go up to the guy and be like, oh my god, she matched with you, she likes you. God, what am I doing? Anyways, I think they were like messaging him too and stuff. And so I go downstairs because I'm like, oh, I want to see this guy. Like, he's not that bad looking. Like, I wouldn't necessarily swipe right on him. So we go downstairs and it's literally like middle school. Like, both people on each of our floors are like screaming and being like, oh my god, yay. It's low-key pretty embarrassing. But
They're literally having, like, it's literally embarrassing talking about it now. We're like, they're having like a real life high school experiment with you guys.
But like, he seems really happy, and I'm just like, ooh, maybe I should tell him like I wasn't the one that swiped and I'm not the one that was texting him. They're like all egging us on to give each other our numbers. So I'm like, you know what, whatever. I'll do it, and then I'll just privately text him after. Hey, like, not interested.
That makes sense.
We talk for a little over text, but like I'm being so dry, guys. Like, I'm clearly being very dry. And then I drop the bomb and I'm like, hey, like you're really sweet and really nice and cute, but I didn't match with you. Like, I'm not interested. It was my friends that were messaging you and stuff. Like, I'm so sorry. And like, I didn't think much of that conversation after. I thought it went pretty well. And then came the weekend. Everyone's outside. Everyone's like partying and stuff. And I'm outside my dorm. And I'm just there like waiting for my Uber. And I see this guy come up to me. And he was pretty drunk. I've never interacted with him when he was drunk. He's basically just hitting on me, telling me like I'm so beautiful, whatever. I'm like, thanks, not interested. And then I tell him I'm going to see someone else. Like, I'm not interested in him. I have someone that I'm seeing. His personality, literally like that, changes. He gets in my face and he's like, that's not fair. He's like, why won't you be with me? Why won't you kiss me? I like you. That's not fair. And I'm like, how does that have anything to do with what I'm supposed to do with you? Like, just because you like me does not obligate me to hook up with you. That's literally what I told him. And he's getting so angry. And honestly, I feel like I'd be more scared, but we were like out in public, even though he was like getting all in my face and stuff. I literally don't know why. But yeah, I'm scared, but I'm also like, bitch, what do you think you're gonna do? So I stand my ground, and then he starts cussing me off, like literally calling me a whore, being like, fuck you, whatever, and storms off. All very shocking to me because he was genuinely such a nice guy.
It is very weird that she lives in the same apartment with this person, and that's very risky because all of those friends will not always be there with her.
When he was sober, like, couldn't even hurt a fly. Anyways, not even a month later, rumors start going around that he's getting kicked out of our dorm.
If you thought dating was only rough for women, get this. So my best guy friend went on a bunch of dates with this girl, like maybe 4 or 5 dates, like really cute dates. He planned them. They were very elaborate. And then for their 5th date, she said, let me plan it. So it was really cute. She was going to do like dinner and laser tag. It sounded really fun. But then just as he's heading out the door for the date, he gets a text being like, wait, don't come. My mom's in the hospital. I've got to go there. So he obviously was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Like, take your time. Let me know if there's anything you can do. He sent flowers to her house. So then a couple of days later, he gets a photo from her of the flowers. And she said, oh, my roommate just said these arrived. They're beautiful. Like, thank you so much. That's super kind of you. He responded being like, yeah, no problem. I hope everything's well. Like, let me know if you're down to meet up at some point. Obviously, no rush. Yeah, hope things are good. Doesn't respond. So then he waits a couple more days, and they were talking like every day. So he was like, hey, just want to check in. Like, I hope everything's going okay.
First date, are you alive?
Hey, I'm really sorry to hear about your mom, like thinking of you kind of thing. And then didn't hear from her again. So a couple of days later, we checked her Instagram. So she wasn't posting anything on Instagram, but she does have her ViscoCam link in her Instagram bio. She was at Coachella the entire time. Like, maybe there's a world where something happened and then she went to Coachella, but like the timing isn't right. Like, she literally was at Coachella the entire time, which like we obviously will never know the extent of how far that lie went. But imagine if she was fully lying, how bad she must have felt when those flowers arrived at her door. Like, oh, so bad.
If she actually felt anything at all, there's people who are just okay lying like that. And I don't know, I might be biased, but I feel like guys throw a line all the time, especially when they want to align their multiple dates together. Like, their cat dies, their everything dies. I feel like that's what just happens. And she was in Coachella. Yeah, there was no mom sick.
Okay.
So I guess it's rough on both sides.
Absolutely.
I have another creepy story. This one is about a girl who met a guy on a dating app and it went terribly wrong. So this girl downloaded a dating app. When she's scrolling through all the people in her area, she sees a guy who she had previously matched with. It is clear to her after about 20 minutes of conversation that he doesn't remember her. And so because she's a little bit embarrassed that she remembers him and he doesn't remember her,
I know. She's like, yeah, I kind of left an impression on you, but who are you?
she just never mentions the fact that they had matched before. After a few days of talking, she starts to doubt herself. She starts to think that maybe this isn't the guy that she had previously matched with, because this guy's life seemed very different. His job was different, where he lived was different, his favourite bands were different. In fact, the bands that she remembered specifically,
It's giving you vibes. Guy has multiple accounts and personalities that he has for the different people he's going to date.
him liking her favourite bands, he didn't seem to have a clue who they were. She thinks to herself that maybe it is possible that this isn't the same guy, he's just somebody who looks like him, or maybe she's confusing him with another guy. She doesn't actually have to wait to meet this guy, because before their date had even happened, she started to see this guy randomly around.
Ouch.
Even though she had never seen him before, she saw him in her local supermarket. She saw him while she waited for the bus. But this guy never made a beeline for her. He didn't even wave, he just did one of these. And his nonchalant behaviour when he would see her led her to believe that there was nothing for her to feel alarmed about. The night of the date rolls around. At the bar, they're getting on quite well, conversation is flowing.
It is so flipping awkward that you guys already are supposed to be probably, you have to be talking with someone remotely interesting conversation for you to consider going on a date with them. And then there's no way that your face is different from the person that he meets. And then bro is like, unblock, unfollow. What do? I don't know. Unmatch the person.
There's not a lot of chemistry, but he's a nice guy. He's polite and he's got manners. The only thing that she doesn't like is that when he asks questions, he stares at her a little bit too intently and a little bit too long, and it makes her feel uncomfortable. She finds herself having to look away quite a lot. After 2 drinks, they leave the bar and they head towards the restaurant. But before they get to the restaurant, he asks her, is it okay if I stop back at my house and check on my dog? Being an animal lover, she says yes. When they get outside his house, he asks her, does she want to come in? And she says, no, I'm good here. After like 10-15 minutes, he comes back to the car and he looks really worried. He says the dog's not well and that he can no longer go for dinner, and he's very apologetic, which she is completely understanding about. As he feels so bad, he asks her, can he order her a cab and can he pay for it? Which she says that he doesn't need to do, but he is very insistent. And again, he says, do you want to come in and wait for the cab?
No, because my brain is, the first thing I'm thinking is ordering you a cab means they know your location and they'll see your ride and see where you drop off. So yeah, no, thank you. Spend the money and take care of yourself. Stay alive. It's literally like, this is my house. You can come in whenever you like, having someone order you a cab, right?
And she says no. She is outside in his car, like waiting for him, not knowing how long the cab's going to be. She waits for around 10 minutes and then she gets her phone out to call a cab for herself. At which point he comes running out to her, almost like he's been watching her. He tells her that the cab is on its way and that it will be 20 minutes because they're very busy. She says, don't worry, I'm just going to get an Uber. And he says, Uber can never find this place. Honestly, you're better off just waiting. And as I say, I really want to pay. Please, I'll be offended. Let me pay. So again,
Give me cash, so you're not offended.
He then comes back out of his house, but this time with his dog, and he tells her that he's going to go for a quick lap around the block and that he'll be back soon and that her cab will be here any minute. As he gets to the top of the street, he takes a phone call. He then turns around and gestures to her to follow him, which she takes to mean that her cab is ready and waiting for her at the top of the road. So she runs towards him. When she gets there, he tells her that the cab is cancelled because he got called in another job and that he's going to try and contact another cab for her now. At this point,
I'm already pissed. I'm like, go bye. Boy, bye.
She's had enough and she just tells him that she's going to walk towards the main road and she's just going to hail a cab herself. And he says, I completely understand, but at least let me walk you there. Like, it's getting dark, I don't want you walking by yourself. And again, I feel terrible. So again, she says, okay, fine. So they're walking up towards this main road and he says, let's cut across there. That takes us to blah, blah, blah road. And she's like, okay. They cut across this little bit, but
I don't understand. It's already pissing me off. Like, how can you meet a stranger and it's like, turn right, and you're like, yes, Google. Google Maps. Turn left. Yes, Siri. Like, come on.
doesn't take them to any road. It looks like it goes deeper and deeper into a forest. And And the whole time, as they get deeper and deeper, he is reassuring her that it's just a few more minutes, and then they're going to be at the main road. And now she has no choice, because when she looks behind her, she can't even see the path anymore. Until eventually she just can't bear it and she tells him, I'm scared, I want to go back. He turns around, drops the entire jolly, nice, polite man act and says, I haven't given you any reason to be scared of me yet. Turns away and he carries on marching. Instantly, she knows this is the guy that she was talking to. He has just lied about his entire life and his intentions are not good. She turns and she runs back the way she came. She has no idea if she's even going the right way. And the entire time she can hear this man laughing at her as she tries to get away from him. Not only does this man laugh at her, he also tells his dog to find her as he's laughing. Can you imagine? She does find her way to a main road and she flags down somebody and she goes to the police and she tells them everything that's happened. He deletes every single one of his profiles on all of the dating apps. He has no social media. When the police went to the address, the one that man said that he lived at, they found that the landlord had actually been renting out each of the rooms to like strangers illegally and that he hadn't been checking their IDs. And so there were several men that would like come and go and they were just paying cash. After a few months, he gets back in contact with her and he tries to gaslight her into thinking that her running away was really strange and that he was only joking around. She lets him know that she knows that's not his real name, and he starts to detail what he actually wants to do with her and what he would have done with her had she not run away from him that day. There are so many weirdos out there. Don't get in anyone's car, even if their dog is sick. Not that you should have to worry about it, but you do have to worry about it because there's weirdos out there.
Okay, that was really good storytelling. I'll see you guys in the next video.